Have you ever wondered how you would fare living in ancient Egypt? Picture this. The year is around 3100 BC, a time when the world as we know it was just beginning to take shape. This was the dawn of civilization, the moment that would herald the birth of one of the world's most fascinating cultures, ancient Egypt. In this era, two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt, were united under the rule of the first pharaoh. Imagine a leader so powerful they were considered a god on earth, a divine being who held the fate of the Nile Valley in their hands. The unification of these two lands was a monumental step, setting the stage for an era of prosperity and growth that would echo through the ages. During this time, another extraordinary development was taking place. The Egyptians were crafting a unique system of writing, known as hieroglyphics. Picture a language of symbols, each one imbued with its own meaning, a complex system that was both an art form and a means of communication. These hieroglyphics were the Egyptians' way of recording their history, their beliefs, their triumphs, and their tragedies. But what's a civilization without a life-giving source? The Nile River, a ribbon of blue weaving through the desert, was the lifeblood of ancient Egypt. It provided water for crops, a means of transportation, and a source of fish and wildlife. The Nile was more than just a river. It was a divine entity, worshipped and revered by the Egyptians who depended on it for their survival. And then there were the pyramids. These grand structures began to rise from the desert sands, a testament to the Egyptians' architectural prowess and their belief in life after death. These were not just tombs, but eternal homes for the pharaohs, designed to protect and preserve them for their journey into the afterlife. So, with the birth of civilization and the rise of the pharaohs, ancient Egypt began to take shape. The stage was set for an extraordinary journey through time, one that would leave an indelible mark on the annals of human history. Imagine living in a time when the world's most magnificent structures were being built. This was the reality for those living during Egypt's Old Kingdom, often referred to as the Age of the Pyramids. This was a time of unprecedented prosperity and cultural advancement, which allowed for the construction of some of the world's most awe-inspiring architectural feats. The pyramids were not mere structures, they were grand monuments, symbols of the divine power of the pharaohs. The most famous of these, the Great Pyramid of Giza, still stands today as a testament to the ingenuity and ambition of its builders. It's a marvel of engineering, with its perfectly aligned stones and precise measurements. It's estimated that over 2 million blocks of stone, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons, were used in its construction. It's a testament to the sophistication of ancient Egyptian architecture, a sophistication that still baffles modern engineers and architects. But behind the grandeur of these monoliths, there was a harsh reality. The laborers who built these colossal structures often worked under harsh conditions. Most were farmers who were drafted into service during the flood season when the Nile's waters made their fields unworkable. Their work was grueling and dangerous, with injuries and fatalities being commonplace. They lived in makeshift camps near the construction sites, enduring the scorching heat of the desert sun and the biting cold of the desert nights. These laborers were the backbone of the pyramid projects, the unsung heroes who toiled and sweated so that the pharaohs could have their eternal homes. They were the ones who paid the price for the grandeur that we admire today. Despite the grandeur of the pyramids, life for the average Egyptian was far from glamorous. It was a life of hard work, of toil and sweat, of living under the shadow of the majestic pyramids. These structures, as magnificent as they are, also serve as a stark reminder of the disparity between the pharaohs and their subjects, a testament to the harsh realities of life in ancient Egypt. Ever thought about the rise and fall of kingdoms? Let's dive into the Middle Kingdom and the New Kingdom of ancient Egypt, two periods marked by prosperity, innovation, and expansion. The Middle Kingdom, a golden age in Egypt's timeline, was a time when pharaohs were not just rulers, but also patrons of the arts. They commissioned grand temples and intricate sculptures, all aimed at glorifying their rule. This was also a time when literature flourished, with the creation of tales that are still admired today, such as the Tale of Sinuhe. Trade routes expanded during the Middle Kingdom, reaching as far as the land of Punt, modern-day Somalia, for exotic goods like incense, ivory, and gold. These were not just commercial ventures, but diplomatic ones, helping to establish Egypt as a major player in the ancient world. As we move forward to the New Kingdom, we see the pharaohs growing even more powerful. They were not just political leaders, but were now seen as living gods. Their word was divine law, their actions shaping the course of history. The New Kingdom was a time of monumental building projects, with the grandeur of the pharaohs immortalized in stone. The Valley of the Kings, home to the tombs of these divine rulers, is a testament to their wealth and power. Trade continued to flourish, with the expansion of routes to the Aegean and the Levant. The arts thrived, reaching new heights of sophistication, with detailed frescoes and intricate jewelry that showcased the skill of Egyptian craftsmen. But amidst this prosperity, was it just the pharaohs who were enjoying the wealth? The answer may surprise you. The Middle and New Kingdoms were not just about the pharaohs. They were also about the people who served them, the craftsmen, the traders, the scribes, the backbone of ancient Egyptian civilization. The power and wealth of the pharaohs were unmatched, but were they the only ones enjoying the prosperity? All empires must fall, right? This is a truth that even the mighty civilization of ancient Egypt couldn't escape. The decline of this once powerful empire was not abrupt, but a gradual process that spanned centuries, and was marked by a series of invasions, shifting power dynamics, and the loss of Egyptian independence. The first significant blow to the Egyptian empire was dealt by the Hyksos, a people of mysterious origin who managed to seize control of Egypt around the 17th century BC. They introduced the Egyptians to new warfare technologies, such as horse-drawn chariots and advanced weaponry, which they used to dominate the Egyptians for over 100 years. However, the Egyptian spirit was resilient. They eventually drove out the Hyksos and entered a period known as the New Kingdom. But this victory was short-lived. The New Kingdom, despite its achievements, was plagued by power struggles and weak rulers. As the power of the pharaohs waned, Egypt became vulnerable to invasions once again. The Assyrians and Persians were the next to try their hand at ruling Egypt. Each left their mark, but neither could hold onto the throne for long. The last nail in the coffin, so to speak, was the arrival of the Romans. By the time Cleopatra, the last pharaoh, took the throne, Egypt was a mere puppet state under Roman control. The Romans marked the end of the pharaohs and the loss of Egyptian independence. From then on, Egypt would be ruled by foreign powers, its identity slowly eroded. The once vibrant culture, the grand architecture, the intricate hieroglyphs, all that remained were remnants of a bygone era. The decline and fall of ancient Egypt is a poignant reminder of the transient nature of power and empires. No matter how grand, how powerful, or how advanced, all empires must eventually fall. But even in its decline, ancient Egypt left behind an indelible legacy that has survived the test of time. The once mighty civilization of ancient Egypt was no more, leaving behind a legacy that continues to awe and inspire. So, could you have survived in ancient Egypt? As we've traveled together through the different eras of this grand civilization, we've seen the immense challenges that the people of ancient Egypt faced. Life was far from a walk along the Nile, especially for the common folk. They had to contend with the harsh desert environment where basic survival was a daily struggle. Food and water were scarce, diseases were rampant, and the scorching sun showed no mercy. Yet, it was this very adversity that shaped the remarkable resilience of the ancient Egyptians. They harnessed the Nile's floods to cultivate the surrounding lands, turning the desert green with crops. They developed advanced irrigation systems, and their knowledge of medicine was ahead of its time. But let's not forget, these were luxuries mostly enjoyed by the elite. For the average citizen, life was a constant grind. The social structure of ancient Egypt was as rigid as the pyramids themselves. At the top were the pharaohs, seen as gods on earth, while the commoners occupied the bottom rungs. The chances of social mobility were as scarce as a cool breeze in the desert. Your fate was largely determined by your birth, and escaping it was a Herculean task. And then there was the political turmoil. From the power struggles during the Middle Kingdom to the foreign invasions in the New Kingdom, uncertainty was a constant companion. The specter of instability loomed large, adding another layer of complexity to an already challenging existence. Yet, despite these hardships, ancient Egypt was a cradle of human civilization, a beacon of knowledge and culture that shone brightly in the annals of history. The pyramids, the Sphinx, the hieroglyphs, they all bear testament to a civilization that was far ahead of its time. While ancient Egypt was a remarkable civilization, life was not always as glamorous as the pyramids might suggest. But then again, isn't that the case with all great civilizations?